Everyone. Welcome to the Coffee Chat.
Rich.
Dayne, for your ears, this is a forum where small businesses come and they share their stories, and also to get some advice, and for others to learn and gain a little bit of inspiration about some of the good things that you've done or challenges that you've faced that maybe they've faced the same sort of thing. And it's about sharing. So today's chat is all about solving a small business problem. So let's just quickly go into the agenda. So today we're going to be chatting about a company called African Roots. And we're going to ask a whole lot of questions of Dayne, and we're going to ask him to explain to us his business problem, history of his business, why they're in business. And then we'll open it up for questions and answers, and then we'll wrap it up with some advice on which way we think you should go. So let me just jump straight into introducing Dayne. I must admit, I haven't seen a bow tie on a young chap for a very long time, but I think it suits you.
Oh, thank you. It's actually from a wedding.
Cool. So just some background on Dayne. Surname's Kennedy. Did a BCom accounting and postgrad diploma at UCT. Did his articles with PwC in Joburg. I mean, going from UCT to Joburg, wow, what a shock. And then 3 months in Canada. Yeah, Canada, nice and cold. And then you started African Roots with a partner, Ty van der Waal. And you said that you're a specialist commercial fertilizer distribution company that now just entered the retail market. So tell us a bit more about what is African Roots and why are you in business?
So I guess from our side, myself and Tyron had both entered the Johannesburg market, coming from originally KZN and then going through to Cape Town, and then into pretty much corporates in Johannesburg. And I think we were both just sort of struggling with the whole corporate adjustment, and we were looking for something more. We were wanting to solve problems. So we met a few times and discussed quite a bunch of options, actually. And basically what we wanted to do was just find problems and pretty much provide a solution to them, which was eventually, we went through quite a range of options. Eventually we ended up pretty much coming to the fertilizer idea. And by chance, Ty met quite a strong contact that he had known for some time. And that's where we sort of got talking to them and where we got into the commercial fertilizer side.
Okay. So share with us, what is your actual business challenge?
So the biggest challenge from the retail side that we're facing, obviously we are a commercial fertilizer company, and the basis of our products are all commercially driven. So with this new product, we are entering the retail market. I think for us, the biggest challenge right now, especially with going through all the lockdowns and COVID and all the different restrictions, has been to sort of drive sales. We've managed to get into some of the big stores and a number of nurseries, Builders Warehouse, as well as Builders. But I think our major problem is just driving the sales in those stores without being able to really run major promotions and actually go into those stores, which I think is where that's been our biggest challenge.
Okay. All right. So I did
maybe.
So let me just paint the background a bit here, Garth.
Okay.
Dayne, I was doing a little bit of research on your company, what I could find online. And there were a couple of things that popped up for me. Was, first of all, you said you are a specialized commercial fertilizer distribution company. So what does that actually mean? I mean, there's a lot of people here who don't really understand what the fertilizer business actually is or how it works.
Okay, so basically we supply farmers with fertilizer. So the way our company works is that the majority of our products are either organic or there are some semi-organic. Basically, we will go to the farms, we will request a soil analysis from the farmers, and then we have someone on our team, he is an agronomist, which we refer to as our soil scientist. Basically, he has all the know-how of the soil, how the product works with the soil. So he'll analyze those soil samples, sort of do it with the crop as well, depending on what crop the farmers are using. And then based on that, we'll provide the different fertilizer range to them and sort of give them a program to apply to different levels of the crop and the growth. And then that will be the full package sort of that we'll supply to them.
Okay, so how do you actually do sales into that commercial market then? Do you run out to each farm and go and bang on the door and have a chat to the farmer?
So that is the idea, yes. So basically, we have the rights of distribution in Gauteng. So that is basically how the model works. Yeah.
Okay. Um, so what makes you different? Now, the reason I'm asking this question is that I've got a friend who immigrated to Australia, and he is not a trained agro scientist or anything like that, but he is really, really good at mixing stuff together to come up with sorting out, soil fertilization issues. And he made good money, and he's making good money in Australia doing the same sort of thing. So I'm trying to understand the market here in terms of what makes you different, because there's lots of fertilizer companies around. So how have you niched yourself? And I know I'm sort of taking a leaf out of Dana's book here, is how have you niched yourself and what makes you actually different from someone else? Now, think about that in terms of your existing commercial operation, and then you want to now put this thing in bags and stick it on a shelf and sell it through a retail chain. So what makes you different? So if I walk into Builder's Warehouse and I want to buy fertilizer, I just look around and I say, okay, I'm looking for X potting soil or fertilizer, whatever, what's the cheapest, and I just buy it and I take it home. So what's going to make me buy your stuff? So what makes you different?
So from the retail side, firstly, we've got, it's a liquid fertilizer. So it's packaged in quite a small, it comes in 2-liter bottles, and it covers quite a range. So we cover about 250 meters squared across with that 2-liter bottle. The fertilizer that we're going from the retail side is all organic. So its basis is in what we call earth and exudates, which is the basis of the majority of our products. It's an all natural compound. It's very similar to what a lot of people know as worm tea. It's just a lot more concentrated. And then to that, we add certain organic nutrients as well as organic acids. So the product itself, it's got a dilution ratio of 1 to 100. So it covers quite a large area. Our main selling point from the retail side is that we've packaged it in these bottles where you simply just plug it onto your hose and you pretty much spray. So you just turn on the hose pipe and spray over the garden. It automatically dilutes as it goes. And it releases all those nutrients. It's high in nitrogen. So its purpose is to give the garden a boost. So the nitrogen is for your foliage, basically, but it can be applied as a foliage as well as a soil spray. And it's just to sort of bring those nutrients into the plants and into the earth. So yeah, our main focus as a company is on soil quality. And by using the earth and exudates, it's high, really enriched in nutrients. So we pretty much put to give a long-term quality and a long-term soil health.
All right, so let me pose
Can
the
I
question.
raise the...
So I can just ask one last question, Garth.
Sorry,
And then
Rich.
we'll open it up.
Yeah.
So I'm not a green finger by any means. Okay. So a lot of the stuff you mentioned is a lot of technical stuff. So how do you make someone like me buy your product? Now, I'll give you an example. My dad used to be a plant manager at the plastics factory at Sasol. So when you talk about liquid fertilizer, one of the benefits that he used to get as an employee of Sasol is that you could take your 5-liter drum, you could go to the plant and you can fill up with liquid fertilizer. I would come home and I'd dump it into a 5,000-liter tank and I'd just spray my garden, and I could actually listen to things growing at night. It was scary. But that's my sum total of knowledge of liquid fertilizer. So how do you position yourself and niche yourself to the common person who's like me, who knows absolutely nothing about agriculture or fertilizers or anything else?
And can I add to this? Sorry.
No.
Think about it from the side that like you were just saying now, that if I want to even buy it from my private place, from my garden, and like why? People don't know. So what they do, they Google, they go ask questions. So that's where you need to come with and think like, okay, what's in it for me? What is the problem that your product is solving for that person? They say, okay, I want this one.
Okay, 100%. So I think from our side, the main part of the retail was just sort of the easeability of using the product. So it replaces, instead of you having to go and get bags and bags of compost, and which is measured in that DM cube, so you need a fair amount of it to cover a lawn. This is simply, you're going to cover 250 squares with one bottle, and it should come in at a cheaper price than having to buy, say, 10 to 20 bags of compost. So for example, my lawn back home, in Durban, so my parents' lawn, they bought, I think it was 30 bags of compost that we put over it, and the same amount was covered with just one bottle. So that was really, it's just to sort of make it as easy as possible for the consumer. Pretty much just buy the bottle, plug in and spray. That's kind of where the route that we were going.
Garth?
Okay, so maybe just to support Dayne there, and I've been involved to a very small extent, more on the commercialization side with Dayne and Ty. With all the technicalities regarding fertilizer, if we start the brand story at the beginning, Dayne's business is called African Roots, which I feel is it's a very appropriate brand name. And that appears on the landing page if you Google African Roots or organic fertilizer. Their product that or their umbrella brand that under African Roots that they've created is AgriBoost. So this chap here, okay, AgriBoost, the 2-liter bottle. And that there is the applicator that you simply apply to your hose pipe, and it basically allows the lawn, you to cover whatever square meterage of lawn you want to cover. As Dayne said, a litre covers, I think, 100 square meters or something like that. So those formulas are there. Where I believe the brand has a good fit in today's world is that the switch to organic farming is huge and aligned to sustainable development. The fit is good in that you're using earthworm exudate, which is it's a natural product and it's part of the whole natural cycle. The fact that it has a very good affinity with organic type farming has a good fit with where agriculture is going. The old days you farmed on a farm and you brought your crop to town. Today you put up a few containers with LED lighting and you grow your product in a few containers just outside town. So your whole supply chain gets shortened. So just going one step back to create the story, African Roots is the generic brand, and then AgriBoost is the retail positioned product. If I look at Dayne's challenge, it is, apart from this very unique application that you've got on your 2-liter bottle of liquid fertilizer, is how you differentiate in your category from all the brand clutter that you find in the fertilizer category. And to me, that remains probably the key challenge, together with the listings in the market, or the listings by key account, be it Builders Warehouse or Build It, or the nursery chains or the nursery groups. And then on a broader platform, how you reach your organic farmers, where are those directories, where are those associations, where do you get the details of all that, those people that you can then start putting onto a mailing list or whatever you want to do. But Dayne, I don't want to steal your thunder, so that's just been my take out of maybe the challenges that you want to pick up on. And then Dayne, I don't know, from the marketing perspective, you probably have a few inputs here.
Actually, while we were chatting, I also looked at the website. When you're trying to get to, there's a difference if you work directly with farmers than versus if you work on retail. And I think you're missing out. And I look at your website and I look at your social media. It's nice and all while amazing. Your talk about sustainability, 100% organic, all that, that's amazing. But that's not the only thing that's going to help you get the sales. And the message that you had just before, when you said like you can use this bottle instead of using 10 bags, that's what people want to know.
Yeah.
Okay. And especially in a time like this, if you can help me save money, being more efficient, not finding out to get the bags and put them in the car and all that and store them whatsoever and be lazy on doing it, something to very easy and simple. If you can sell me that, I'll be there very quick. And that's a message that's missing, because it's your website is very beautiful. It's like all green and nice, and you get the vibe of the organic, but it's still missing something in the message. So I would add, for example, the story behind you guys. You know, why you're doing what you do, how you got to this. share some facts. How does it work? How can you save? People want to know. And it's not appearing on anything on what you're doing. And that's even like on your Facebook, in your post, you're inviting people to come to the shop and like go buy it. You tell them, do you actually want to, if I can tell you how you can actually save whatever, 20% on what you pay, or like 200 rand, I'm sure I'm not aware about the pricing,
No,
but
not at all.
you can say like, I'll help you save like 1,000 rand a month. Do you want to? Just by buying one small bottle. You don't even need to store it. You just use it and that's it. People were like, okay, I want to hear more. That's how you attract them. And that's a lot of things that you are missing in that also from the different social media. And again, you also need to remember, if you're trying to go to the retail, so yes, Facebook and Instagram are very good for you. If you're going on LinkedIn, so retail is not really that much there unless you're trying to go from LinkedIn to the different stakeholders in different places. So you can come into different strategies on the way you work, because it's not the same strategy when you're trying to reach the people that the consumers will come to you to buy versus you're trying to get to the stakeholders. Those are two different type of target markets and two different strategies. And you can do the same, both of them on the same time, but they cannot come with the same message in a way.
I completely understand. That makes a lot of sense. Thank you.
Yeah,
and also in the stakeholders, there's a difference if you come, sorry?
No, go ahead, Dayne.
So there's a difference if you come to a procurement manager in one of the retailers to get it, and you can tell them, I can help you with X and Y, Z. And then you come to someone that actually do the marketing and tell them this is how you can market it, and people will rush into the store to get it, But also to get to the different stakeholders, you need to build something in the background. So if you come to a marketing person or the general manager and you want to tell them this is going to bring more traffic to your place because this is how I do it, this is the activity I have, it's also going to help you to sell it.
Yeah,
100%.
Dayne, a question and a comment for you. When you got the distribution rights for this product now on the commercial side for Gauteng. So when you're going out to the West Rand and north of Pretoria and those places and whatnot, and you bump into the farmer there, and those are hardcore farmers. So you walk in there, hello worm, and you chat to them. What is the one thing that immediately catches their eye? Because those guys are big commercial farmers. It's a business for them. They're not farmers. It's all about rands and cents. So would I be correct in saying, when you turn around and you say to them, well, if you use this liquid fertilizer, I can cover that entire 15 hectares that you got with all of these, I don't know what those round spraying option things, whatever. I can cover that whole thing in 1/10 of the time.
Yeah, like the crop frozen.
Yeah, and I can do it at 50% cheaper. Is that normally how you actually grab these guys? Because I can't see how you're going to grab a commercial farmer with the technical details of the product.
No, 100%. So look, we've got a bunch of trials as well, just comparing it to different products, which is one of the key factors in the selling. And then also just the ease of application. And so it will be the reduced cost and then the ease of application across those different fields. We're looking at a lot less product required of a much greater area. So it's simply you just hook it up to those boom sprayers, and it's really fine the fertilizer itself. So it can travel through it very easily, and then it can be applied like that.
Okay, so that's how the farmer will listen to you and start asking you more questions, and then they start getting into the organic thing, and they're talking about the technical aspects of the product, etc., etc. But it's that first thing that you grab them with. The fact that your laborer just needs to plug in this 5-liter or 10-liter drum onto this round crop spraying thing. It's easy, it's not labor intensive, and it covers 50 times the size of what you normally do and half the time. That's what grabs him. Now, that's what you're selling. You're not selling the product. You're selling it's cheaper, better coverage, less labor intensive, etc. Now, that message, exactly as Dayne said, I was looking on the website as well, is that, without being critical, their website designed by a technocrat. Somebody who's done really good graphics. It really looks nice. But you're not telling me, I read all that stuff about all these different products and the process and whatnot, and that's all technical information. And it's great. I read through some of it and then I started losing interest. But you didn't tell me what you're actually selling. And I think that's where you're struggling on the retail side as well, is that you're not telling people like me who want to buy stuff for my lawn, what am I buying? Really, I would love to have grass. I'm too lazy to do it. But if I could plug it into an irrigation system and it'll do it all for me, you've got my attention. And I don't think that message is not coming through on your website or on your Facebook page. And information that Gar sent through as well is just, yeah, I understand that, brain category and the slicing and dicing and segmentation, all that stuff. But it's that very first part in what's grabbing or not grabbing your consumer. Because when you go to a farmer and they look at your face and they say, oh, this is a trustworthy guy, he'll chat to you, and then you normally pitch it without probably even noticing. You're pitching to him exactly what we've just discussed. But you're going to do that on a much broader scale on the retail side. Am I right, Dana?
100%.
Yes, and always think about that, what will convince you to buy? What will get you to look at a new product? And we sometimes forget about it, especially if you go from the consumer side and you go to a big retail and there's lots of stuff over there and you're like getting lost. But that's what, if you do marketing, so you have like a 360-degree plan, right? You're attacking from social media, your website, at that spot where they come to buy. There is even a saying, it's a new product. So you can even ask, put something, put like even a flyer. There's so many different things that you can do just to create that awareness. And as Richard said, for some people that maybe were lazy till now to have it from different reasons, now you actually encourage them. So you actually, even that's another point for you to even share, when you're trying to get it to a certain place, to retail. That's another, people will buy from you now, grass or whatsoever, to get this stuff, because there's and then you can build even packaging around this, if you buy this, you get my product. So there's a lot of different things you do, but the message needs to be very clear, very clear. Also with the design of your page, with the message, it really needs to be out there. And even in your post, when you write down, touch people's pain, like the pain points, where it hurts, okay?
100%.
And the money now, it hurts for a lot of people. Mm-hmm. It doesn't matter if you have a good income or not, okay? Everyone now is scared. So if you can help people to do it and open their eyes and explain, and think about the elevator speech that you have when you go to a farmer, how you can actually package it in an easier way to a person that don't understand much, and you bring it out there. So I would recommend you to do as an exercise, write down in one sentence your key message, which will be, what are you promising to deliver with your product and your service?
Okay. Awesome. Yeah, thank you. I'll definitely do that.
And you can share after, and I'll help you with this to define it.
Okay, awesome. Thank you. Really appreciate it.
Dayne, what is Ty's background?
So Ty, at the moment, he's working with a logistics company. So he's one of the fleet controllers.
Okay. All right. I'm just trying to understand the dynamic between the two of you. Because I don't see on your website or on your Facebook stuff any of your training from a finance perspective. You're a CA. So you understand financial modeling, which can fit into any aspect, whether it be agriculture or mining or whatever. So surely when you go to a farmer and you're chatting to this person, you bring out that financial modeling, it just comes out as second nature. Well, you can save this money. That's
I guess it does to an extent, yeah.
That you need to just pitch it, use your training to pitch it to the retail sector as well. Because exactly as Dana said, it appeals. You know what appealed to me when my dad used to give me these 5-liter drums of liquid fertilizer? I knew it worked, and it was so easy. It would literally just pour this thing into the 5,000-liter tank and spray it out in the garden. And then my next biggest headache would pop up because oh shit, but I'm gonna have to cut the grass twice a week instead of once a week. It was a different problem.
100%.
But I used to tell everybody, all my friends, listen, this stuff works like a bomb, and it's just so easy. And then I used to get orders from all my mates. I had a Jetta in those days, and those things had huge boots, and I just couldn't get enough 5-liter drums in there for the amount of people who wanted the stuff. And I knew nothing about fertilizer. So cut long story short, you're not selling yourselves. You don't have a story that's coming through on your website or on Facebook about who you are and why you're in this business. Why did you decide to get into bed with this particular product, and what makes this product attractive? none of that stuff is actually coming through. Anybody else got any comments? Garth?
Yeah, I've been going through some of the comments from Adolf and Freddie, and the thread is pretty common in that, from a targeting point of view, retail to the industrial market or the farmers, they're two different messages and they're two different reach mechanisms and communication mechanisms. And I think rightly so. There are a lot of very good USPs on the retail product, this Agri Boost, which is captured here but doesn't carry over into the website. And I think that, as Dayne rightly says, people and money today it's a huge issue in every household, in every family, wherever you go. So the financial benefits of using the product, the spread per square meter, in retail terms, it's the return on retail real estate per cubic square meter. So your 2 liters takes up a 2 liter container space in the trade, as opposed to a couple of bags lying out in the warehouse. There's a message to be developed on a financial platform for the retail pitch. One of the things that Freddie mentioned there is testimonials. Wherever you go, you've got your phone, just ask the farmer, whoever you're talking to, if they've used the product. Just a 30-second clip that you can pop into YouTube or on your website. Gert Maritz from Senegal says, my maize has never looked better. That's all you need. Short, sweet, within that sort of catch, it's down to 5 seconds, like we see on YouTube. If the ad hasn't got the message over in the 5 seconds, it's worthless. So the messaging, the targeting, and I do agree that there's a lot of good technical info that needs to be carried more into a USP that can be translated into both trade, let's call them trade channels, because that's what they are. Retail, wholesale is one channel, and your industrial farmer market is another. The need for testimonials throughout is huge. So I think that needs a focus as well. I don't have anything more to add there.
I'll add on your testimonials part. The nice thing today with social media that you can do is actually get people, you bought it, you used it. Tag yourself using it, write something about it, and then you'll get a voucher from you with a discount to the next one, or one for free. You do different stuff like this, and then you're increasing your exposure and you're getting the testimonial. So you can do different promotion around this. You either get a discount, you get one for free, whatever, but encourage people to tag the products, and that will come to your Instagram. You even choose, for example, a type of hashtag that's going to can be very viral and round about this, and encourage people to use it. And that's part of what you're missing out when you're working. And that's the things. And well, lucky for me, I was working also on the consumer side and on the B2B market. So I know that there is a huge gap, and people don't understand that there is a huge gap between you coming to the farmer and you doing the work, and you know exactly how to connect with him and reach out when you're trying to reach out to more and more people from a retail. And it's a different type of marketing. And I think that's where you finding that gap, because it's easy when you go to the farmer, you know what to say. It's you've got all the information in you. You just come and just, put it out there. Now with the retail, you really need to feed people with a spoon, like you do to the kid with the airplane, and like bring it to the. That's how you need to do it, and you need to be very clear and put it out there and work on it. Work on engaging with them. Work on getting them to work for you, and that's the thing. If you can get them to work for you, they will be your best brand ambassadors, and they will bring the sales like this, and they're gonna come back over and over, and that's the nice thing. And that's where you need to start building yourself if you want to grow that big and go to that retail side. And it's doable.
Awesome. Thanks, Dayne. I appreciate it. Thanks so much, Dayne.
Cool. Anybody else?
I thought you were laughing at my example with the plan.
Yeah, no, we were resonating there. Yeah. Anybody else got any questions for Dayne? Nothing. Okay. All right. I think what we do then is we'll wrap up. I think the message is quite clear, Dayne, in terms of you guys have done a fantastic job on the technical side. But you need to just revise and tweak your message, what you're doing on the commercial side, and then what you're doing on the retail side. And it needs to be more about you and Ty, why you are there, and what is the actual thing that you're selling. I think the fertilizer is a secondary option. It's what are you actually selling? And both you and Ty have both got that expertise to come up with what you're actually selling. And I think it's come through quite strongly from everybody who's commented in terms of you're selling the ease of use, the cost reductions, etc. And Garth can, or Dana can help you with the, some catchy phrases on those two things. And I think the one comment that Freddie made there is, what's the difference between compost and fertilizer? And they're very different things for different purposes. Maybe that needs to come in your marketing message as well, in terms of what are you focusing on? I don't know the difference. I would probably just fly a kite here and say fertilizers is for foliage and compost is for soil or something. So on the retail side, people are mainly worried about how green is my grass and are my roses growing and whatever else are planted in the garden. Maybe that's where your product fits in. So I don't want to go on and on and on, but I think that's the message that's coming across. Keep the theme of your website. It looks absolutely beautiful. That whole flow and the green, and it's nice and clean and not too sterile. And your font use is also really, really good. But your message needs to come through a bit stronger in terms of what are you actually selling. And I think that's about all from us. So I hope you found that a bit informative. We've helped you a bit.
Yep. So thanks so much, Evan. I really, really appreciate it. We'll definitely take everything that you guys have said into consideration and start focusing more on those points.
Cool. Okay.
Just feel free to really ask if you want to. I'll be more than happy to assist and try to advise and guide you in this. So feel free.
Awesome, Dana. Thank you so much. I really appreciate that.
Yeah, same from our side, Dane.
Great. Dane, thanks so much for sharing your problem with us. So what happened from here is I record the Zoom call, and I will edit it and take out all the ums and ahs and things like that. And I'll send you a copy, and I will send you the contact details of the people who've made comments on the video, so that you can contact them independently and just ask questions, and we're here to help.
Yeah, fantastic. So thank you so much. I really, really appreciate it all.
Cool. Great. Even if it just helped just a little bit.
Yeah, no, 100%. No, it's been a load of help. Thank you.
Wonderful. Okay. Guys, we're going to wrap up.
All the best there, Dane.
Yeah. We're going to wrap up. I hope you have a really, really good weekend. And Godspeed. I'll chat to you guys next week.